guys, Tom here, back with another Road to Planche episode, and this is the second workout in my program. If you're interested in my program, it is free to check out down below. I just put up what I'm doing currently. It's a pretty open program. You can kind of put your own twist on things, but just go have a look if you're interested, and also check out my how to create your own program video as well if you're interested in creating your own program. Both links in the description below. So, as I was talking over there, I'm just doing the Whaddidup portal band mobilization warm-up. I do this at the beginning of all my upper body workouts. It's just a really effective way to warm up the joints, the tendons, and the upper body. Link to the full video by Whaddidup portal in the description. I then moved on to some wrist mobility and rotations, just preparing for the planche. Very important area to warm up. And then finally I was warming up with these planche leans, making sure my scapula is engaged, making sure my shoulders are back. This is just a really great exercise for warming up the core, shoulders, wrists, back, everything for the planche. Really do like this one. So, the first exercise we're going to do today is these planche leans with a box. On the program, I've left it pretty open. This is kind of the day where I like to experiment. I've got a straight arm and a bent arm day, and then I've got this kind of mixed day in between where I kind of just like go with whatever I want to play about with. So it's kind of a fun day. Still targeted. I know I'm doing a planche and a front lever thing, but I tend to just mix it up and try and play with different types of exercises. The next exercise I'm supersetting this with, although with a sort of a couple of minutes rest in between, are these dynamic front lever pulls, I've called them. Not really sure what they are, but they're kind of like a front lever raise into a front lever pull-up. But the raise kind of gives you a nice little boost of momentum into that pull-up, so it kind of is slightly assisted. But they definitely do work because they make you pretty damn sore the day afterwards. But for me, the pull-up movement of the front lever is pretty weak, so I like to throw them in to improve that. So on the first planche leans, and on this one as well, you can kind of see that my mid-back scapula is actually like not quite as engaged as it should be. It should be forming quite a nice round like it is now on my back. But it just basically means that it's not engaged enough, which is one of the reasons why my planche is weak, I think. I've got slightly weak wrists and also slightly weak scapula, so that's letting me down. But these exercises like these, where you can kind of keep a good body position and the strain is targeted elsewhere, is always good to identify your weak points. Just thought I'd throw in a side angle for the front lever pulls. You can kind of see that my scapula again is always engaged on this position. I'm not actually going all the way down to rest. I am making sure I'm keeping engaged the entire time, going back and forth. So as I said, I did notice as I was doing these exercises that my scapula wasn't engaged. So now you can see there's kind of a nice round on my upper back, making sure it's nice and engaged for the planche. This exercise is really great at replicating the actual full planche because although you've got your legs are supported, you kind of have to push back and balance that box as it tips. So it really does replicate the movement quite well, and it does get really tough. As you can see here, my scapula's sort of dropping, my back's dropping, I'm fatiguing a bit. Really, this isn't a very good last rep, but it is a really tough exercise. If you are looking to further your planche, it's always a good one to try and just put in there. Much like these front lever pulls, both exercises are kind of just a way at overloading your muscle memory, because you're essentially forcing yourself into a position that you wouldn't really be able to get into. So with the front lever, it's because of the assisted momentum from the pull-up, and then with the box, you've got the box there to support you, so you're kind of in full planche, but at the same time you're supported. So you're building that muscle memory, so your body knows that it's okay in that position, but at the same time you're kind of not strong enough to be there. So these sort of exercises are great for working on skills. And I thought I'd throw in a cool front-facing angle just so I could look at kind of my stability there. And then this is the final set of the front lever pulls. I think you can see I'm actually getting quite fatigued. This exercise is pretty tiring. It definitely requires a lot, which is why I threw it right at the beginning. But you'll see later on in the workout that I'm just pretty fatigued. I don't know if I actually managed 4, I didn't count there. But not so good really. Definitely something I need to work on is my sort of endurance with my back. And in the workout, I'm supposed to have muscle ups here, but because I don't really have anywhere high enough to do a muscle up in this gym, I've just split it out into ring dips and ring pull-ups, and then just supersetting them together. So starting with the dipping movement, because I started with a pushing movement first, and I don't know if you've watched any of my old videos, but you'll notice that like during the body by rings sort of phase, and then this phase, like my rings are so much more stable now than when I first started. Like when I first started, I was wobbling all over the place. I was not so much with the pull, like this has always been relatively strong. It doesn't really change too much for rings, but especially with the push, when you have to keep your stability in that top sort of dip position, like I was shaking all over the place when I started doing rings, as I think everyone does. But now they're feeling really solid. I can bash out 8, whereas I could only get like sort of 5 or 6 shaky ones before, and I can do 8 pretty comfortably now. This is what I mean by the fact that my back was fatigued. I'm sort of struggling to get 8 pull-ups there, whereas if I was fresh, I probably could hit like 15 or 20. So yeah, back to those dips, and I'm still a little bit shaky, but like my top position where I turn my hands out is really still strong. Like in old videos, I was really struggling to turn those hands out at the top, and now it's like just not really an issue. So I'm really happy with my progression. It was on the last rep, but I think that really goes to show sort of how quickly you can come along with the rings. I switched to the bar for the remainder of the exercises simply because the rings put me too low and my feet were kind of like dragging along the floor, so I just wanted that little bit extra up. Plus, like essentially I'm still working the same thing, it's just less stability. But as I said, you can see I'm kind of fatigued here just from doing those front lever pulls because they are so strenuous. I decided only to do a couple of sets, whereas I would actually have 3, and it's mainly because I split out those exercises, so the volume's going to be more, because I've got basically more sets. So I only did 2 sets instead of 3 sets of the pull-ups and dips. And then I moved on to what says in the program, bridge progression, but all I'm doing here is I'm coupling some mana, which is like an L-sit progression. That's really good at sort of targeting the scapula and traps, and a nice active flexibility drill. And then I'm putting it together with these hollow back handstand sort of leans against the wall. I'm not actually quite flexible enough to really push into the bridge yet, so I found for me this is probably the best progression to get the most stretch in that sort of shoulder region, because that is for me where I'm really quite tight at the moment, and it's kind of holding me back with a lot of upper body stuff. So, and again, now just the back position for the mana here. I really like this as an exercise. Like, it's good for a little bit of core compression. It's really nice for your stability and rear delts and kind of like just your whole back, and it gives a really nice stretch on the shoulders as well. So it's not actually a particularly hard exercise, but it definitely does burn when you start holding it for like 20 seconds. And on this last set, I was kind of feeling a bit fatigued and didn't feel like doing a full handstand, so I was just trying to lean and really push my shoulders through. But I do actually get cramp like halfway through, which you'll see here. I sort of start cramping in one of my hamstrings, which is why I like come down in a bit of a retarded way in a second. Yeah, like here, I just start cramping. But yeah, so I always try and throw this like active mobility in at the end, as well as some hang-in, which you're about to see now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as I said before, in the description we have everything you need to know about this program. Please try it out, or just watch my video on how to create your own program if you want to create your own. It's very personalized to you and it's going to meet your goals. So I'll chat to you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.